All right. Another thing I would like to sit back and say is what time it is on planet Earth. And I'm going to say, quit looking at whether society is ignorant or stupid or whatever. Just realize this. This place is here. This earth is here and is centered around desires. And anything that human beings can do with desires, okay, it is what humans can do. That is human nature. Okay, and we are in a detriment, depressive, depraved cycle on this planet. That's what it is. Okay, so there's no loans and grants out there for people to do spiritual work. So let's get that in our heads straight. There's no loans and grants out there for people to take the intellectual vibration to a higher level. And you could, I don't need to tell you about where the music and the entertainment is for the emotions. I don't need to tell you about the physical situation. Okay, so you're swimming against the current if you make one step to clean up your life. You're swimming against the current. And so if you feel depression, it's because you want to impress where the universe is not accommodating. So maybe you don't get the loan, you don't get the grant, you don't get the job, you don't get the dream to come true. And because I'll tell you this, karma will find you. You don't have to do a damn thing for karma to find you. So if you got some good coming to you, you don't have to do a damn thing. If you got some bad coming to you, you don't have to do a damn thing. But let me explain something to you. I suggest you don't take the attitude of I ain't gonna do a damn thing, because that's today's food that will come to you. What about tomorrow? So don't just get in the habit pattern of letting weed structures be recreated, because that's what you're going to have to eat off tomorrow. So when these people come up and they sit back and say, let me waste a day of your time, then you didn't plan anything constructive or high. Then sooner or later, you're going to be in a drought. And that's what we got coming up. Now, I want to go through this next step of witnessing. Now, if you witness a person's spirit saying, help me, and they're sincere, and, they're caught up in chaos. And so you got this book of matches. This is spiritual insight. This is just a book of matches. In a dark night, wolves are circling around them. The wolves of their passions, their unrequited passions and everything. And they're saying, help me. Strike a match. But if that motherfucker blows that match out, they ain't ready to learn, okay? that wind didn't just come up and say, okay? When you strike a match, okay? But if you strike a match and they say, here, I got a little hay here and on a stick, and they light a torch, they ready to grow. They putting some energy in it. They open to make some sacrifices in order for you're going to make some room. So the room has to be made off of a person saying, I forego this in order that this can grow. Okay? Now, you need to time yourself on all passions. In other words, if you're a guy, how long does it take for you to go from an unguarded full erection down to soberness as to who the hell you had that erection for and what their intentions is? Time yourself. If you're a girl, you time yourself how long you get from the fact of this person's hot and has all of these exotic refracting techniques of being able to know, flip my energy around and my moods around. Because generally that's what you're selling. You a person who can always entertain and they can take you out of boredom. All right. And how long does it take you to get down? How long does it take you to get from hatred down to sober disappointment? You see what that is? See, hatred, then there's anger, and then we got sober disappointment. Okay, then we got frustration. Okay, and what's the cause and the source of it? When you get it down to sober frustration, you could begin to say, you know what? Now that I look at that situation and that person, that's chaos. And that was a trap waiting for anybody who walked up on it. It wasn't personal, but I personally got involved. Okay, but if you're at the height of that passion, you're not going to be thinking that way. You're not going to have any new ideas. You're in the fee, fi, fo fum, level. Or you just discovered little Goldilocks who ate all your food, broke your chairs and everything, laying up in the bed. It's not going to be a time for you to discuss anything. Okay, so you have to time how long does it take to drop those passions back down to a level where you pull that energy from outside of you back inside of you. And then you start polling. Why can't I quiet my emotions? Why can't I quiet my body? Why can I not quiet my mind? What all these thought formations that are flipping all over the damn place. And then you got these spiritual techniques. That's what this recording is about. If you truly listen to this, you may not quiet your mind on precept 1 or 2. It may be one at the very end. But if you get a chance to get 15 seconds of damn and breathe, then you're going to start breaking that structure down. You're going to start breaking that state down. Okay? And something's got to take you there. Don't forget, high spirit broadcasts 24 hours a day inside of you, because you are part of the whole. Everything in the whole is in you. But it is a weak broadcast. This is the desire plane. This is the desire plane. Here, show me what you can desire. And if you got it, you're great. And if you don't, then you're a have-not. This is where we live. Okay? So when you start talking about a spiritual person walking through an alchemy and things like that, I mean, that's kind of like to the degree of, person sit back and say, let me show you how not to desire what you desire. And the person says, I really wanted the crispy fried chicken and not the soy burger. Then that's what people are. Okay? Until somebody tells them that they've been putting a few hormones in the crispy fried burger. Into there, then we got a different type of situation. So I don't want to get into the dynamic of, what your desires are. What I want you to get in the dynamic of, if the crowd's doing it, okay, if the herd's doing it, then you are participating in a herd process, and therefore when the karma comes down for the herd, you're a part of it. So kind of look at that situation and make a decision what's going on with you. Because, you got to look at all these variables. Now, when you get into astrology, then what you're saying is, I need something to kind of give me a picture where the universe is going. This is astrology, numerology, or whatever you want to call it. It's anything that kind of says, what's the flow out here? What season are we in? Okay? Instead of just sitting back and saying, I know what I want, and this is the land of opportunity, and I'm going to try again. Okay, generally, if you want that philosophy of I know what I want and this is the land of opportunity, just watch late night TV. You'll see all these slick head fools and everybody talking about, how they made it. And all you have to do is program your mind and your desires and follow their shit. And please send the money in for my course. And I'll show you how to do it. And I'm trying to say, if you have the same karma as these people and the same opportunities as these people, because sometimes by the time they've done this stunt, it's just like deer hunt. I think after you shoot the 10th deer out in the woods, the rest of them know that somebody's out killing deers. Okay, so they're going to take cover. So you can't, some of these things that they're talking about people doing, it ain't new. And so you can't really repeat it. But that's what the desire structure is. So this is not a good time to think about open careers based upon abilities, because the society has lost creativity in job structure and distributing job structure to a lot of people at different stratas of life. Okay, so your career would have to be internal, and you would have to do a job and find your creativity and your expression outside of the job. So when a person says, well, what are you? You'll say, this is what I am, because this is what I feel, and this is what I do spiritually and intellectually, but this is how I make my money. I work to make my money in this way, but this is what I really am about. So that's two sides. When the society is has empathy towards the members of a society, then they'll sit back and they will say, well, let's have special projects. Let's have grants. Let's have art endowment. For these people who can't fit into the structure, let's enhance it. They'll do that. And as I've said to you many times, that's why the new welfare structure where they do all these things is the military. Those are the ones that's going to get the health care plans and the education plan and things like that. But you start talking about the general public, the cities are bankrupt, the counties are bankrupt, and the states are bankrupt. And when you see big corporations, international corporations, saying, we're going to lay off people and cut benefits and not honor pension plans, like Enron or, GM, then you got a picture right there where you're talking about non-family. See? So it's saying, you don't have the security net that you once had. And what I'm saying, when you find that, then you go inside and develop seed structure. And you don't go for the 30 and 50 year mortgage and the $250,000 house and the 40,000, big time SUV and all this stuff. You don't even go there when you don't have the financial structure to support these things. You don't even know which way things are going. You try to cut back on the other end of the chain, which is functionality. Therefore, if something happens to you, generally you still will be able to function. It won't be glittery, it won't be shiny, but it will be functional. And so that's kind of a flow as far as the timing, because you'll find that people more passionate than you will riot. They'll be disruptive. They're going to do things and whatever like that. And then you let that manifest. You stay low key, stay inside, and let the storm. This is what I want to talk to you about passion is, think about a fire. Now, fire needs fuel. And you got to think about this. How long does it take for a tree to grow? I mean, just think about it. A long time. A tree is a slow growing process. And what does it do? It holds the topsoil. What does it do? It shades. The trees do a lot of things. Okay? They bear fruit. And they host animals. But when you get a fire going, it consumes trees. And you put firemen out there to fight the fire. Sometimes they say, this fire is bigger than anything we can do. And we're stuck down here fighting it. What are we going to do? Now, this is where you're going to see society go. So you might as well get ready for this. You dig a hole in the dirt, in the ground. That means ground yourself into the basic principles. And you get still and you cover yourself up with a blanket and as much dirt as you can. And you take a deep breath. Now, what is it saying? This saying, even though people ridicule you, they taunt you, they haunt you, they seduce you, if you stand still long enough and work on your inner giving, your inner living, and these principles, that fire will jump over you. And it does. And the firemen survive it. The fire is so hot, burning so fast, that it consumes. And then the firemen come up out the hole and say, damn, it's past us. See, fires have been even known to jump over freeways. There's so much heat in the air. It jumps over to the other side. Okay? And so that's the firebreak. And I am warning you that these times are coming. Now, I'm not talking about a week, a day. I'm saying these times are coming. Okay? And so you have to have your own firebreak prepared. You're not going to be popular. You're not going to say I'm satiated. You're not going to say I'm nurtured. You're not going to say I'm loved during a fire break. And if I was digging a fire break, now would I pick this time to lay on my back? I don't think so. I wouldn't want to look up at the sun. Okay, I'd be laying on my stomach. Okay, so you got to think about what this means. So it's saying ground yourself in the basics. Okay, and you'll hear people out there saying, I wouldn't take that shit. Are you sacrificing this the best you can do? Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. The long run. Okay? So this is something to think about.